Hello friends, we're talking about the Yaesu FT-1900 today. This applies pretty much to the 1802, the 2900, and 2950. All of these monoband VHF, UHF rigs from Yaesu operate basically the same from this vintage of an analog radio. So let's just get a little familiar with this radio in case you're not. We have the volume button or knob here, squelch knob there, and down here our tuning knob. This is an internet switch for wires if you use that, and of course your on-off button. One nice thing I like about these rigs is that they, let's see if I can get this to work here. When you start up, it gives you your supply voltage, which I think is really useful. And then down here we have the other buttons that we're going to mostly talk about today. First of all, we want to know what happens if you touch a button or press it. How do you know which one applies? So I always look for something that relates to power. Down here we see low, so it looks like if I just tap that, it's going to change the power. And I like how it works. So we go like 5 watts, 10 watts, probably 25 watts, and 50 watts. So that means anything else down here that I just touch, it's going to affect. So it looks like reverse. Sure enough, I see the pulsing reverse. I'm listening to the reverse on that repeater. And so that makes sense. So if we hold it down, that means it's going to do what it says on the top. So for example, here, the alphanumeric button, if I press that, it switches from the alphanumerics to the actual frequency of the repeater. Pretty cool. Or if I wanted to write a new memory, I hold that down and it suggests a memory location, and then I can dial in whichever one I actually want and then tap it, and then it'll lock it into that memory. We're going to let it time out because I don't want to set another memory here. Dual watch, if we have a frequency we want it to pull quite often, then it'll go do that. And that's what dual watch is. Settings menu, like all these Yaesu rigs, I love the architecture here. It's all alphabetical. Let's just look at a few of these. Looks like we've got 59 of them. Okay, number 1, auto power off. Now if we just tap it, we can go in and select, let's say we want the radio to turn off if we don't touch anything 5 hours from now. And it'll beep before it does that. So that's just kind of a neat little feature. Tap again to come out. Next one we don't care that much about. Let's go up here, beeps. Here we can set beeps. I don't like beeps, so you'll probably see mine is selected off. And let's see here, number 13, DC volts, kind of nice. If we don't want to turn it off, turn it back on, we want to see what our supply voltage is, we can see it right there. Let's see here, dimmer. We have all sorts of, boy, it'll go bright here. Looks like I was using like number 2. So it goes quite bright. Let's see, setting number 26. This is kind of cool. It's the lock. And so in other words, if let's look at the microphone here. So if we have the lock, if I slide this up and lock it, what's it going to affect? Here it's just going to affect the push to talk, the keyboard plus the push and talk. I think that's the dial plus push and talk, or everything, or just the keys, or just the dial, or the keyboard and the dial. So you got all sorts of options there. So I'm just going to hit all for now and come out of here. Oh, this is a good time to mention something here on this microphone. If you press the A button or the B or the C or the D, it relates to these buttons here. So if I press A, it's as if I'm pressing this one, or if I tap it, same thing. So A, B, C, and D is what these are, or A, B, C, and D on the microphone are what these buttons are here. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Also, we'll be talking a little bit about the program buttons, P1, P2, P3, and P4. We can program those also. Okay, so that's what the lock setting does. The mic gain, we can say I've got mine at 5. You've probably all heard people on the air that are just horribly low on mic gain, or maybe even too much. That's how you set it on this rig. But of course, you always want to make sure that you have the microphone close to your mouth and hopefully out of the airstream, maybe off to the side, pointed towards your mouth, so you can get real good audio. Okay, 36 to 39 I wrote down. Yeah, that's where we program those P buttons on the microphone, those program buttons. So let's just tap in here. Yeah, I have mine, so P1 is set to DC voltage. I got P2 set to the dimmer. I have P3 set to the weather channel, and P4 set to the squelch off. So let's just see if that works. I'm going to hit squelch off. Let's get some volume up here so I can see if it's really working. Let's see, let's come out of the settings menu. Okay, I don't know if that's working or not. Oh, because I have lock set. See, it works. Okay, let's try P4 again. Yep, there's squelch. Yep, P3, it took me to the weather station I want. P2, yep, dimmer. And if I hit dimmer now, if I hit these up and down buttons on the microphone on the top, see, I can affect that. So that's kind of cool. All right. And let's see, let's get back in the setting menu. And let's see, what did I have on P1? I had DC voltage. So let's see if that works. Hit P1. Yep, DC volt. Okay. Sorry, you can't see that any better. Okay, let's get back in the settings menu. And you might have noticed I was able to do a quick exit out of that just from the settings menu just by hitting the push to talk button. And that works on most parameters. It won't transmit, it just takes you out of the menu. So if I want to go out like right now, I'll just hit the push to talk button and I'm back into my normal operation. Okay, back into settings. Let's see, that's 39. What do we have on here on 41? Resume. Okay, so let's say we're scanning. Let's say we have a lot of memories here and we're scanning through all the channels that we've programmed. What do we want to have happen? Okay, so let's jump into it. Here it looks like it'll hold it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or it'll hold it indefinitely while there's somebody talking on that frequency, or it'll just hold forever. So you have options there, 3, 5, 10, while it's busy, or forever. So those are nice options to have. Okay, RF squelch. Let's say you have your carrier squelch up all the way, your noise squelch, but you want a little bit more to eliminate stations that are, say, weaker. Well, then we can say, all right, I want it to be a S9 before I even want it to break squelch, or S5 or something like that. So that's kind of useful. Let's see, repeater. Okay, that just sets the offset. If we don't like the regular offset, we can tweak it there and have it go positive or negative or simplex. That's all that is. And let's see here. 46, there's our shift. Yep, 0.6 megahertz for 2 meters. And let's see, 49. Squelch type. Okay, do we want to put out tone? In which case we'll see a little T there. Do we want to put out tone and require tone to be able to receive a signal? That's tone code squelch. Digital code squelch. Reverse tone and off. So that's where you set your squelch settings. Step, that's your tuning increment. And let's see, temperature. Yeah, you can see what your temperature is. These do get hot. If you're running a net or something on anything but low power, or even low power, this chassis will get kind of hot. Some people put fans on them to cool them off a little bit. And let's see here. That's pretty much it. Looks like you have a weather alert. You could put weather alert, enable that, and weather volume, max volume norm. I've never used that. I bet it's might be kind of exciting. So I don't want to surprise myself, so I'm going to go to normal volume and I'll turn off weather alert. So that's the basics of it. Now let's look at how we might operate this in normal everyday operation. I'll go back here. What I want to do mainly is be able to get from VFO mode to memory mode. So here we are, obviously in memory mode. I've got alphanumerics there displayed. Now if I want to go to, let's see, oh, I'm sorry, wrong button. Here we go. This is home. It's a quasi VFO mode. It just gets you to the home frequency that you've designated. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish it'd just be simple VFO or memory. But notice once I hit the tuning knob, I'm in VFO mode. You can see that right there. So there's obviously the memory mode, because I've got a memory channel 1 in the Fort Mill, South Carolina repeater. There's another one. There's another one. So you can see how I have different channels. And it's kind of cool. For each channel you program, you can select your power level, you can select the tone, the offset. So it's kind of nice how that's set up. And then here we got VFO mode. One cool thing on VFO mode, let's go over here and let's see, we tap the megahertz. If we want to get around real fast, see, I can tune by megahertz, which is really cool. And then tap it again, then I can tune the rest of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's pretty much the lay of the land on the FT-1900. I hope that helps you get started. Have a good one.